Ending up in my office this time, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit of a different demonstration. I don't know if you all saw this post that I put up. It wasn't even too long ago. It probably was an hour ago, but this is something that God gave me in my spirit earlier this day. And I pray to God that what you're about to learn, I pray to God that this changes your life. I literally pray to God that right now, this little bit I'm about to show you all over these next few minutes, that this changes your life. Because this should explain to you why there's sometimes you go after these goals and these mountains and things in life, and why sometimes you can find yourself roaming around the same mountain over and over and over again. So if there's anyone you all can think of that needs some encouragement right now, I want you all to make sure that you start sharing this with them. Can you all see this? Can everyone see my wall? Because normally when I go live, I'm sitting in my podcast room, and I'm not able to draw like I want to. And I like to draw on my walls. All throughout my office, I like to draw on my walls. Can you all see this? Because I want to make a demonstration to show you all something. Let me know if you can see the board. Hey, Tisha, I see you, baby. You all comment and let me know if you can see what I've written on this board, because I want to show you something, and I pray to God that it changes your life. So let me know if you can see it, all right? Just give me a comment here and let me know that you can see it. Okay, Stephanie saying, hey, Ms. Z. Stephanie, let me know if you can see the board. You all let me know. Prince says, love a good visual. Okay, so Prince, I'm assuming you can see it. Okay, Lahidra, you said you can see it? Wonderful. Let's go ahead and get started. I want you all to think for a moment. I want you to look at these mountains. Hopefully you can see the whole view. Look at these three mountains as different areas, different stages in your life, because we all go through a lot, am I right? We all have different mountains that we have to travel. Now, if you all would just listen and get this, what I'm about to tell you, and we're only going to be on this for like not even too many minutes, because I've got a meeting at 4. But look at this. These are the mountains. I want you all to think through. Everyone, we all to some degree start off somewhere over here where we have a mountain we have to climb. Now, you all answer this for me. When you are climbing a small mountain, if you all ever been on a little hike trip or something like that, explain to me, what are some of the things that you need when you climb a small mountain? You all give me some of the words in here. I know that you need like a water bottle, right? So you may need a water bottle, right? What is it that you need when you're climbing a mountain? And let's look at this mountain as an area in life. Let's say you're working on a goal or a dream. Maybe you're trying to, and I shouldn't say small mountain. So I apologize for even saying small, because it's all relative. But let's say you're working on getting a degree. You're working on something that's pretty tough, or you're dealing with a family matter or a situation, or you're trying to graduate, or you're trying to get a new job, or whatever it is, I want you to think about a small mountain in life. What are some of the things you need when you're scaling a smaller mountain? So one of it is maybe water bottles. What else? You need a nice pair of gym shoes, right? Maybe a pair of gym shoes, something like that. What else do you need? Maybe some snacks. Okay, so maybe some snacks or something like that. And what else do you need? Maybe like a hiking stick or something like that, right? So I want you to think through. Many of you all have already accomplished this mountain. Many of you all have already accomplished this, baby. This wasn't even all that tough for you, because this is one of those mountains. Listen very carefully to me, y'all. This is one of those mountains that you can quickly like sprint up and do something. No different. Thank you, baby, for the hearts. No different than you seeing me right now on this live. Now, this was not planned. I always say that, but it's true. This was not planned. But it's no different than you seeing me on this live right now. And maybe someone's going to get really, really, really motivated, right, to go do something. And you get out there, and with a little bit of effort, a little bit of determination, you don't have to make a lot of major adjustments in your life. You don't have like a strong prayer routine or a strong, some other strong things going on in your character and your heart. But you can sprint up this mountain, and even though it's hard, even though you've accomplished some things and it took a lot of work to do it, you made it. So I call this mountain, this is where motivation lives. Let's write the word motivation. M-O-T-I-V, what is that? V-A-T-I-O-N. And let me slow down just a little, because I'm going a little fast because I've got a meeting. Motivation lives here. And this is where most people climb these kind of mountains over and over and over again, these smaller mountains. You get motivated and you just sprint. Anyone in this live right now, you ever have a project or a goal or something, and you just, before you knew it, you just sprint and you just took care of it, right? Maybe it took a couple weeks or a couple months, but you did it. But here's the problem. God is always calling you higher. You think He's gonna leave you at just that little mountain right there and leave it there? Do you really think the God that we serve, and I pray to God that someone is listening that really needs to hear this, do you really think God is going to leave you positioned right there? No, baby, that's not how it works. He's always calling you higher. And here's what's going on with some of you all right now, and you don't even know it. God is calling you to a higher mountain. Now, can you all see this next mountain I have up here? This next mountain is so far up in the sky. Look at that. It's way up there by the clouds. It's way up there by the clouds. Now, with this mountain, you may think to yourself, I can use some of the same things that I used when I was at this mountain. But how many of you want to bet that this mountain is going to be a tougher climb? This is not one of those mountains where you go on a little weekend hiking trip with your family or some friends or whatever. Baby, this is a mountain that's all the way up there in the clouds. So for some of you, right now, that's the mountain that you're going on. It could be starting a business. Is someone picking up what I'm laying down? It could be developing your own nonprofit or something, right? Right? It could be going back to school and getting a PhD or something like that, right? It could be working strongly on your mindset and some other things. This is a really, really tall mountain you're dealing with. It could be some issues in life you've never dealt with before. So what happens, you all? I want you all to answer this. What happens for those of you who are serious hikers, because I'm definitely not one of those people. What does this person need to scale this kind of mountain? You all give me some comments in here. What do someone need that would scale this kind of mountain? Because the same things that you use here, can you use those same little gym shoes when you're climbing a mountain that's way up there in the clouds? No, you're gonna need some hiking boots. Am I right? What else you gonna need? You're gonna need maybe some sort of eye protector or whatever, because you gotta protect your eyes when you're going that high up in the sky, right? Right? What else you gonna need when you're climbing that kind of a mountain that's that high up in the sky? What else you gonna need? You're gonna need a rope, yeah, some kind of a rope or something, yeah. Can those same little snacks, little bag of peanuts or whatever you had, is that going to be able to help you when you're climbing a mountain that's that high, that's all the way up there in the sky to the point where it almost reached the clouds? No. You're going to need some good nutrients. You see that? Anybody else can think of anything else you're going to need? When you're climbing a mountain like that, you're probably going to need a longer rope or something, right? And you're definitely going to need, you can't sprint up this mountain. And some of you are going to say, well, Z, I haven't been sprinting. You don't understand. I've been working for quite a while. It's been, I heard one person say, or at least allude to, it's been about a year or two. Baby, that ain't a long time when you're trying to scale a mountain like that, a project or a goal that God has given you. You may need a rope. You may need a number of things. You're going to have to learn to take rest breaks. So you may need to rest a little bit. And now let me get to the point of where I'm getting at with this second mountain. And by the way, I call this second mountain, this is where consistency lives. Let me write that down. Consistency. And let me explain that. Some of you that are watching me right now are over here at this smaller mountain, right? And you are just getting started. You're learning to get some healthy routines and some things in place. Some of you, I'd say probably over the half of the people on this live right now, this is where you all are at right now. You are working on a major, major mountain in your life. And you're wondering, why is it taking so much time, Z, to reach the top of this? You don't understand how hard I've been working, Z. And what I'm trying to tell you is the same things that you use to get here, baby, those little gym shoes, right? Let's just put that in terms so we can understand it. Let's think of it like this. This person with this mindset had sort of a weak prayer life. This person don't really work on their mindset that much at all, right? This is the person that watches a lot of motivational content and gets really excited for a moment and runs off and tries to do a thing or two. This is the person that's very, very easily distracted. Are you all following me now? You get what I'm saying? Thank you for the hearts. I see it coming through. This is the person that gets very easily distracted, right? And this person can do things as long as it's sort of short-lived. If it's something that can take maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months at the longest, right? These mountains got to be small over here. This person, baby, when you are pursuing a much larger mountain in your life that you've never done before, oh, baby, this person, you're going to need some consistency over here. This person is going to need to start having some healthy boundaries in place. In fact, here's what's going to get you. This person has found out those same, let's just say, mindsets and routines that was over here. No. You can't even get to the top of this mountain with that. You have to have some consistency in your life. You have to be a prayer warrior. You have to. This person is doing a lot of learning. This is the person, some of you on this live right now, you're reading every book known to mankind. Am I right? You're watching every YouTube video you can get your hands on. Someone says, can you save the video, please? I'll save it on my YouTube page, baby. Thanks for saying that. You're watching every YouTube video you can put your hands on. And some of you are smiling because you know I'm right, right? You're doing everything you know. You're trying your best to be consistent, right? You're putting on a little bit of better gear. You're doing some things to take a little bit better care of yourself. So some of you all are already in this spot. Many of you are still trying to get here. Now, you would think this is where everything ends. But watch this. Can you all see this other mountain? Let's just call that Mount Summit, just for the sake of this conversation. Can you all see this? Now I'm going to get very serious with you all. There's some of you right now. God has given you a dream and a vision so big. Listen to me. The calling that he has on your life, the anointing that he has graced over you, and the vision that he has for you is so strong and so great. Baby, you can't even see the top of the mountain. Now, I don't know if you can tell on this picture, I have some clouds here that are almost at the middle of the mountain. The vision is so big. First of all, you can't even talk to too many people about it because they're going to think you too high-minded. And they're going to be thinking, baby, that is not a version of you. Like, who do you think you are that you can do X, Y, and Z? You get my point? The vision and the goal and the dream. And God, please let that person be on the live that you want to hear this, God, because I know this morning, God, when we were spending our time together, you gave me this entire vision in the spirit. There has to be someone that needs to hear this right now. God, let them be open to hearing what you have to say. This person, whoever you are, the vision is so great, and I know you may be tired. I get it, because you already done been through several of these mountains. In fact, your whole life is a lot of those mountains. You get out of one and it seems like it's another mountain right along the way. You all follow me? You've been through several of those mountains. Follow me just a second. Listen to this. And then for the last several years, it could be 10, 15 plus years, baby. You've been working on stuff. You've been going nonstop. You've been doing your best to stay in prayer. You've been using different skill sets. For those of you all who are just joining, I don't have time to go all the way back through the process. But these mountains are a demonstration of the journeys we go through in life. And at this level, you can get away with not being disciplined. You can get away with maybe, having some faith, no real consistency in your life, no real major mastery over mindset at all. And you're the person at this level, and I mean this with love and respect, at this level, you are the person that watches every motivational video and feed that comes across, your timeline, and anything that motivates you for a moment, you do really, really, really good. And you pretty much sometimes can sprint. In fact, let me do this. You can sprint up and down this mountain, but unfortunately, it depends on how you feel and what mood you're in. And you wonder why you keep traveling around that same mountain over and over and over again, right? That's that person. So some of you on this live that are in this category, and that's okay. I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. That next person, which is where we're at now, this is the person that's pretty mature, a little bit more mature, and I mean that with love and respect. This person has been doing their best with the knowledge they have. Now, they may not be aware, man, some of those things that I was using over here when I just had some gym shoes, maybe a little bit of a hiking stick. What else did we say, you all? A water bottle, a bag of peanuts and something. Man, I used to think that, praying once a day was kind of good and that'd be okay. But at this level, my God got me praying a whole lot more. I used to think that all of those motivational videos and content and thing I used to watch was good, but I understand now, that's just the beginning. I understand now at this level, it's about my mindset. It's about, you see this word consistency for those who are just joining? It's about my consistency, because motivation alone don't cut it at this level, baby. This is a very tough level to get to. And before I go to the very last level, I've got like 7 minutes left and I've got to get off of this. Before I get to the last level, let me first encourage you all. Baby, I want you to know that you're doing well. Just because you may not have scaled to the top of this mountain yet, baby, that don't mean that you've not been out there trying. What you have to consider is, let me change my gear. Let me make sure, hold on, I put the gym shoes down. Let me make sure I put the little water bottle down and the little hiking stick. Let me get me the rope I need. Let me get me some hiking boots. In other words, you have been working and working and working and preparing as you're scaling this mountain. Does that make sense to you all? I know this may be over someone's head, but I pray this is helping. You've been preparing, and you need to be encouraged and inspired by that. All of us, baby, are going through these ups and downs with these mountains all the time in life. Now I want to speak to people right over here. This is what gets me choked up every time when I'm even looking in this direction. You all, everything that I'm telling you, you may not believe me. It's up to you. God gave me this whole vision this morning when I was in my living room, sitting and praying and talking with him. He gave me this whole vision. I'm like, what is this, God? And he gave me the vision of the mountains and different things going on. And what he was putting in my spirit is, some people are trying to scale and get to higher mountains with the same mindset and the same tools, the same routines that they use on smaller mountains. And that's why you can't you can't scale that mountain that way. Some of you, and you need to listen to me carefully, I've got less than 5 minutes to talk to you. Some of you, God has ordained and anointed you and put such a great, that's why that dream is still with you and you can't get rid of that dream. The dream God gave you. He will continue to come at you because this is where you're supposed to be. When there is a heavy calling on your life and God has given you a dream and a vision, baby, and you know that this is what God has called you to do, and you've been trying and trying and trying and trying, and you just can't seem to get that mountain where it needs to be. Let me explain to you, baby. I got less than 3 minutes to explain this. Let me explain to you the importance of this mountain over here. Baby, when you're trying to climb a Mount Summit, this is for those of you who are like, Z, God done spoke to me and told me I'm going to be speaking to millions of people all over the world. Or Z, God done spoke to me and told me not only am I going to be a blessing financially for my family, but for generations to come. Or Z, God done told me that I'm about to open up my own nonprofit or whatever. Whatever that big, I'm talking a summit. I'm talking something that's going to reach and touch lives all over the world. I can speak to you all like this because I've had to go through the same journey. That's why I'm speaking to you. When you are at this level, baby, listen to me. You might have been able to use a medium-sized rope here or some hiking boots or whatever. But baby, when you're at this level, you need things like an ice axe, right? Listen carefully. You need a road map. You need a road map. Go try climbing Mount Summit by yourself and see how long it's going to take you to get up to the top. You need a road map. Look at that. You need some sort of a guide. You need the right community of people to be around, right? Anyone, and go and study it yourself. I did a little bit of a search on it myself. Go and study what's required when people climb up these super high mountains. Mount Summit is the one I have in mind right now. They have it literally is almost like a whole unit moving together almost as a family. Some of you are trying to climb Mount Summit and you still are in the same company and same environment as the people, the resources, and the mindset that you had when you was way over here, baby. I don't know if that went over your head. Some of you, God has called you over here where you're going to need a harness. You're going to need a navigation map. You're going to need different types of clothes. You're going to need a very strong mindset because everything you can possibly think of will come your way when you're climbing Mount Summit. That's not for people that are not prepared. So you have to be thinking and saying to yourself, well, wait a minute. I know that God has called me here. And I've been trying and trying and trying. And what I want to get you all to see is right now, re-examine what is in your backpack right now. Because at this level is where motivation lives. This level is where consistency lives. This level, you all, is where guidance lives. Guidance. Now, let me be very clear with you all. I never, unfortunately, and this is a God honest truth, I'm being very vulnerable with you all. I've messed up so many times in my life and in my businesses and things because I didn't seek guidance. I did not seek counsel. I didn't even really respect counsel, especially from other people. I just didn't. And I went around the same mountain over and over and over again until I realized, my goodness, I need some kind of guidance. First of all, from the Holy Spirit, from God, let's just say that. You need a strong, robust prayer life. You need to dwell in the presence of the Lord. That you need to really go to war and go to work on your mindset. You need to be in the company and people that have already been there and done that can show you the way to go. You need your roadmap. You need the right community of people to be with. Does that make sense? And some of you, and listen to me carefully, you are trying your best to climb this Mount Summit because you know God has called you to do so. But you're still using the same resources. That's all the way over here. And some of you may say, well, Z, that's not true. I'm using some of these. Okay, you're using some of these resources. That's good. You have some consistency going in a few other things. But baby, what about your roadmap? What about your community? What about your guide? What about your harness? What about your ice axe? Do you even know how to use it? You all get my point. When God showed me this vision, I says, my goodness, this explains why we keep traveling around the same mountains over and over and over again. It explains it. Because when we go up higher, I want to read just one little passage from my book, Necessary. When we go up higher, we have to use different tools, or we have to add on to those tools. We have to have a different mindset. And many times we even have to get around other people that's already been there to help show us the way. There's a chapter in my book, Necessary. Really, really quickly, I'm going to read this. For those of you who want to join me, I'm having a free live, it's a miniature training session. And it actually, to be honest, is supposed to start right now at 4 o'clock. So I've got to get off of this. But it starts at 4 o'clock. I'm having a free live training session for those who are considering joining the Unlocking Greatness community. An amazing mentorship program I have at Unlocking Greatness, and it's all about spiritual growth, personal development, and entrepreneur development. So if you all want to join me, you can go to unlockinggreatness.com. There's a link right there on the homepage where you can join me in just a few minutes. But let me read to you chapter 14. And this is titled, I Won't Apologize for Going Higher. I want to read this to you all, and then I'm going to run very quickly. So grab your book, Necessary, and turn to chapter 14. I won't apologize for going higher. I won't apologize for going higher. I won't apologize for dreaming so big that it makes others uncomfortable. I won't apologize for reaching so high that I must elevate and be completely transformed. Some of you all are afraid of that transformation. Because you know, if you take your little butt way up here on this Mount Summit where you know that God has told you to go, you already know some of the very people in your own circle probably won't be able to handle that. And some of you apologizing by staying low. Let me finish reading this. I'm going to start over again. I won't apologize for going higher. I won't apologize for dreaming so big that it makes others uncomfortable. I won't apologize for reaching so high that I must elevate and be completely transformed. I can't apologize for going higher because my Father has created me to soar. My question for you, my brothers and sisters who are on this live right now, which mountain are you at right now? And what are you doing to get the help that you need so that you can continue to scale and go up that mountain? Are you still at the motivation mountain? Are you still here where you hear little spurts of motivation? Nothing really lasts for too long. You're inconsistent in a lot of things you do, easily distracted, easily discouraged because you haven't gotten the mindset training and the help that you need. Are you here? And it's okay to be there, but are you there? And by the way, for those of you that are here, some of the frustration you may feel, baby, is because you're trying to go from here all the way to a Mount Summit without the training. I pray you guys are getting this. Without the mindset help, without the growth patterns, without the consistency, without, and I can say this word, the repentance. Maybe there's some things in your life you need to work on first before God put millions of dollars in your hands, because it's spending habits or something, or maybe other things you're dealing with that nobody else knows about. You guys get my point? If you read my book, Necessary, you already know what I'm talking about. God couldn't take me from here all the way up to here. I would have messed up everything. Are you kidding me? Now, I thought I was ready because we always think we're ready, baby. We always think we're ready. And yes, God is going to carry us through it all. Some of you may be thinking, well, see, God's going to carry me no matter what. Absolutely. But do you not understand you got to be ready? You have to be ready. So some of you are way over here trying to go way up here overnight. And you wonder where the frustration comes from. And what I'm trying to get at, baby, is, okay, Look at the mindset. Look at what's in that backpack. Look at what you're dealing with now. As you go to this level, re-examine and say, wait a minute, I got to change some things about myself. There's got to be some consistency in my life. I've got to really, really be serious about learning and growing, working on my thought patterns, my growth patterns, getting the help that I need. I've got to get off of this live, you all. Hang on one second here because that meeting has started. Hang on one second here. Okay. That's at this level. But at this summit level, baby, this is when you have to put some priority on guidance, being in the right community, getting the help you need, having a guide, somebody to help you that's been there where you're trying to go. You've got to change so many. You have to literally elevate in terms of your mindset and every single thing about you. You need what I call a robust prayer life. You want to know why I have alarms go off my phone at different times of the day, especially at night? Because I have to remember this is my time where I sit at least for an hour. I'm sitting here in the spot and I'm just in prayer. Right? You want to know why I have a timer on my social media? And sometimes I turn it off, but I try to keep it on. A timer set on my social media for 15 minutes. Imagine with all the followers I have, and I have a timer set for only 15 minutes a day unless I'm doing a live. Well, why would I do that? I like social media like everybody else do for the most part, because my mindset can't handle all of this mess. I've got to be focused on what God is trying to tell me. Every day I challenge myself with the books that I'm reading. I've got to be getting with my own coaches and mentors. I've got to be sitting silently in the presence of God like I was this morning saying, God, where are you taking me? What do you want to do? How do I? And this is what I said to him. I said, Jesus, take me on the ice with you right now. I said that right before going live. Let me walk in love. Somebody needs to hear this. Take me on the ice with you. How can you hear what he has to tell you when you're operating at a summit level? And I don't mean that pridefully. How can you hear what he's trying to tell you when you have the same mindset as this person? You get my point? I love you all. I pray you've been encouraged. Let me read very quickly a few comments. If there is any one of you that has been praying, God, I need help, or you've been wondering, why am I traveling around the same mountains? I need to go up higher. I need to get help. I welcome you all to join me. I'm going to be heading into a Zoom call right now that started about 6 minutes ago. So for those of you who are waiting on that call, I apologize. But you can go to unlockinggreatness.com. You don't even need to enter email actually, but just go there, click on the link, and you can join me if you want to talk for a little bit. I welcome you to the Unlocking Greatness community. We're having our open enrollment right now. And let me just tell you all this. I'm going to be very, very transparent. We've had a number of people that's joined lately. And what has warmed my heart more than anything, I love it when I hear people say, Z, these live workshops that we have every week, these guest speakers that come into this platform, you don't understand how after just one day or after 1 week, you really don't understand how my life has changed. You don't understand. They're working on a Mount Summit. Mountain. What did you do when this happened? How do I get this business strategy right? How do I get this program up and going? How do I work on me personally when I'm feeling distracted or frustrated? What did you do to change that in your life? What routines you have in place? You get my point? And I love that they're growing. If you all are looking for some help, I welcome you. We still have open enrollment going on. I think it's going to be going on for maybe the next 3 or 4 more days. I was considering shutting it down last week, but one of my staff members says, Z, let's keep it open just a little bit longer. So we have open enrollment right now, you all. I welcome you all to come to the Unlocking Greatness community. You can go to unlockinggreatness.com and I'll meet with you in just a little bit, and I welcome you with open arms. And yes, we still have the same introductory rates on there right now. We're going to have it on there maybe just for a couple of more days. But I love you all. I pray that this has helped. Let me read a comment or two and I'm going to get out of here. Portia says, thank you, Z, for showing me myself. This was very enlightening. Thank you, Portia. I wish I could take credit for it, but God totally gave me this whole vision in the spirit this morning. T says, is it for those who took the personal development package? I'm not sure if I understand your question. The meeting I'm having now is just for new members that are not currently members of the Unlocking Greatness community. Let me make that clear. For those of you who are already in the Unlocking Greatness community, you already know we have our workshops and sessions set up. But this is just for some of the newer people who have been reaching out, some of the newer people who are saying, I really need some help, and tell me a little bit more about what this community is about, because I want to grow. So it's for new people only. T says, okay, I joined last week. Love you, baby. Love, love, love. I pray this has helped you all. I got to close this live out. I got to get my butt on out of here. I love you all. I pray that this has been helpful. Nikita, I see you coming in. I see some other people coming in, but I've got to go now. But you all can go to unlockinggreatness.com to join me. I'm going to have a quick live. Okay, bye-bye. Alrighty, you guys, I've got to close this out. I love you all. I love you. I pray that this has been helpful, and I'll try to save this on my YouTube. Teach says, and I attended the session on mindset already. Wasn't that a good session, Teach? I absolutely loved it. He's a mindset specialist that we had come into the program last week. Teach, she said it's been very helpful. I don't know if you attended the session that Virginia did. Were you at that session as well, Teach? When the one that taught on self-compassion? So let me know if you were at that one. And the next one we have this coming week on Wednesday is for the entrepreneurs. Oh, that's Lorraine. Hey, Lorraine. The next one we have is Wednesday for entrepreneurs. That's going to be phenomenal because we're going to focus heavily with the entrepreneurs getting their sales where it needs to be. Some of them have lagging sales, and they want to know different ways that they can improve their sales strategy, their models, their funnels. So next week is going to be really important for the entrepreneurs. But Teach, wait until you see some of the other experts that we're having coming in. They are literally unbelievable. So I'm going to be making an announcement about that as well. But I love you. I got to go because the meeting's starting. Bye.